Hi, everybody, and welcome to Soda Tavern Chatter. This is a family-friendly place to talk about all things D&D. I'm your host, Sean, and for episode one, I'm joined by my co-host, John Rodriguez, to talk a little bit about this fantastic program that he runs called Heroes Wanted, a program that specializes in kind of D&D classes for kids and teens. Thank you so much for joining me today, John.
Thank you, Sean. Yeah, glad to be here and really excited to kind of share some information about Heroes Wanted and especially for our first episode here of the Soda Tavern Chatter.
Yeah, man. I think this is going to be a great thing, and I'm excited to get started. So, with that, maybe we get started on what is Heroes Wanted.
All right. Well, just to kind of jump straight into it, Heroes Wanted is a online after school program for kids and teens, and we do offer Dungeons and Dragons and Minecraft classes. So, the great thing about it is you can join from anywhere, and we even have some students that kind of join out of country. So it's a really neat way for kiddos to get together if they're in rural areas or maybe there's not a local D&D program wherever they live. So it's just a great opportunity just to kind of bring kids together.
As an adult who plays D&D, I know how hard it can be finding other people who are interested in playing. It's awesome that this exists as a place for kids to find community as well. So, with that, how do the classes work? What do they look like? How often do you meet? How long do the sessions go?
So our classes they meet once per week, and they do meet on the same day and the same time. So that'll be kind of selected whenever you register, and all of our classes are 2 hours in duration, and I think that sums that up.
That's great. Now, if the kids are joining, is one of the kids DMing? How does this kind of work in
Oh
terms of
yeah.
instructors and such?
So every class will have an instructor there who not only leads the games in the session but also moderates as well. So we do have all of our instructors are trained, to work with kiddos, and that's the great thing about our program is there's a lot of places to play D&D and things like that, but there's not a lot of those that are tailored specifically for kids, especially the younger ages, because we offer our classes to as young as 8 and all the way up to 17. So we have our instructors that are kind of trained and specialize in facilitating games for those younger kiddos.
That's fantastic. And I think kind of one key thing around that and one key question that any parent would have is how would I know if my kid is going to come in and join this, that they're going to be treated respectfully and that this is going to be a safe environment?
I got you. Yeah, and to kind of break that into two parts, there we can talk about the safety portion first. So we do password protect all of our Zoom rooms. That's what we use to run our games, and we also do waitlist those rooms as well. So no random people are going to be joining, hopping into the sessions. Only students enrolled or the instructors that are facilitating them. For our Minecraft server, same thing. It is a private server that we control. We whitelist all the students that are enrolled into those programs, and then the server is only open during class time as well. Going to the respect kind of portion of it is we do have something we implement into all of our programs that we call the Players Pact. And this Players Pact is kind of built out of 5 core values that we kind of base all of our programs on, our company on, in fact. And those core values are respect, safety, consent, teamwork, and trustworthiness. And it's kind of a foundation that we set. And we just, have very clear cut expectations that we are going to adhere to this social contract of sorts whenever we play. So any kind of issues that arise, whether it's let's say like bullying, name calling, things like that, like we outline immediately that that is not acceptable in our classes, and for safety, emotional safety is we're not going to bully, we're not going to name call, we're not going to be mean to each other. For respect, we are going to give everyone a chance to express their ideas. So if we ever have any issues in a class come up, we always circle back to that players pack to address those issues.
That's really cool. I appreciate that. And I think for a lot of parents, safety is probably the number one thing that they're thinking about. Now,
Absolutely.
with regard to these courses, how do they kind of run in terms of what does a campaign look like? How would I sign up and when can I join and how could I sign? I should say, not me. How could my kid join? Or how
Yeah,
could I sign
little
them up for a session?
little too old there, Sean. But if you had a kiddo that was 8 to 17 that was interested, you can sign up quickly at our website. which is www .heroeswanted.kids. And there you can go and find all of our classes that are listed. If you don't see an existing class that works with your time, you can always reach out and we can look at creating a new class. And like I said, the great thing about it is kids can join from wherever. So we can be really flexible with, whether it's an evening, an afternoon, or even a morning if that works for certain people. Um, I think that was your question there.
How many kids would need to be in a session to
Oh,
start a
yeah.
new class if there isn't one already existing that works with my schedule?
We need a minimum of two, and we usually cap our classes at five. So, making really small groups, and I think that that keeps the quality of our classes up, and also it makes it so we get a tight knit group of kiddos. And I know you asked about campaigns earlier too, and our campaigns do run. They just kind of run forever. As long as we have the kiddos that return, we do have one of our classes now that have been, it's a teen group that's been meeting for over a year, and it's the same five kids, and it's really neat to watch them kind of bond and grow together and become friends.
That is really cool. That's I think that's what D&D is in so many ways. It's finding that community and growing together. I think one kind of key other question here to ask is what would someone's kids need to bring? What is necessary to show up and be prepared for one of these classes?
I got you. Yeah, and that's kind of the great way. The great thing about the way that we do things is the only thing that is required is a device that can run Zoom on it. So we have some students that join from a computer, some that do like an iPad or tablet. We even have some that join from their phones. I've had students that have been actually in class at the airports about to fly out just on their phone with headphones. So like the only requirement is a device that can run Zoom for the class. I always encourage a webcam, and then headphones or a headset can kind of help with like noise cancellation. But those are like the hard components that are recommended or required. As for dice, students are allowed to use physical dice for the classes, but we do have ways for them to be able to roll virtual dice as well, or the instructor can even roll for them if needed. So the way that we kind of do our character sheets too is we have a customized character sheet that is shared with instructors and students. So it's really great that the instructors can actually just directly look at a student sheet and edit alongside the student. So it's really neat that there's not much that is really required for our classes.
It sounds like it's really accessible, and that I think is much appreciated. Especially if parents don't necessarily know their way around D&D, even if their kids are excited for it. Well, I want to keep things short and sweet today. Thanks so much for joining us, John. And with this, where again could everyone find more about Heroes Wanted?
Gotcha. Yeah. Go ahead and check us out at www.heroeswanted.kids.
All right. Well, thank you everyone again for joining us at Soda Tavern Chatter. I'm Sean. This is John, and we look forward to seeing you back next time.